Well, the Mets got it done yesterday. Pete Alonso re-signs 2 years, $54 million contract, player option for the second year. And listen, I can admit I was wrong, right? I can admit when I'm wrong. Brett was right. He had it right. He did say, I think he even said Wednesday, to be honest with you, that he was going to sign. But hey, they got it done. And am I mad that I'm wrong? No. Because, you know what, this is a perfect deal for the Mets. I think it's a perfect deal for both sides. I think that Pete got hit what he wanted. He got his $30 million a year. Did the Mets overpay? Yeah, they probably did. But that's okay. That's the point of having Steve Cohen as our owner, is that we can overpay and not worry about it. We could make a mistake with a player and buy ourselves out of it. Not a big deal like we did with Scherzer or Verlander. I think Stearns played this perfectly. I think he probably was okay with Pete going somewhere else. He probably maybe wanted to have him back. They gave Pete an ultimatum. Here you go. This is it. It's this or nothing. You got spring training coming up in a couple of weeks. You want to be on a team. You want to be with the Mets. We're going to win. Then you come on and sign this deal. He got the opt out after 1 year. So it's really just a 1 year deal, which is perfect. And I never thought that they would get another 1 year deal basically with Alonso. And it gives him another chance. It gives him a redo of last year, which it wasn't a great year. And it gives protection to Soto in the lineup. It makes the Mets just they're a better team with Alonso on the team than they are without Alonso on the team. And it also sets you up where next year, if he wants to opt out, he can opt out and go somewhere else. And the Mets can still get Guerrero, who I wanted the whole time. So just a brilliant job. And I think Steve Cohen is letting Stearns go out there and do his thing. He's not interfering with it. He's not, he's signing off on things, but he's not basically running it, through Stearns. He's letting Stearns do his job. And I think that's great because Stearns is the baseball guy and he's proven. And look what he's done so far with this team. He's been great. The pitching staff last year, basically a nothing pitching staff coming in. That was a big worry, and they turned out to be phenomenal. Then he goes out, he gets Soto done. He gets that done. He takes him from the Yankees. And now stands his ground on the 2 years, 3 year deal that he wanted to, that was the max he was going to go. He didn't cave in at all. He played chicken with Pete and with Boris all the way up until last night, until Pete finally caved and said, all right, you know what? I'll take it. He wasn't getting anything better from any other team, right? If he was getting anything better, he'd go to those teams. So I think it's a great fit for the Mets now. I think their lineup is just now they have a powerhouse lineup. They're going to be favored to win the division. I think they've set themselves up to be able to compete, at least compete with the Dodgers for a trip to the World Series if they get there. And I can't wait now for the summer. I mean, look at this lineup. It's you start off with two future Hall of Famers in Lindor and Soto. Then you get Alonso, who's just giving protection to Soto. And if Lindor can get on, listen, it's you got Vientos. I think the only kind of weak spot in this lineup is the DH at Marte because he's getting a little bit older. But Marte can still hit with power. If the pitching holds up on this team, the Mets are going to be a force, and they should win the division. And we should be back in the postseason next year. And I'm glad that I was wrong. I'm glad that we have Pete Alonso back. Listen, he's a homegrown Met. He's a couple 25 or some odd home runs away from passing Darryl Strawberry, David Wright, and becoming the Mets all-time home run leader. Is he going to finish his career here? I'd say probably not. Hopefully not. Because I think if he has a big year this year, the Mets will let him go. And the Mets will probably go after Guerrero, who's younger, who's a better player. And listen, so far, so good. There's really not much to complain about as far as this offseason goes if you're a Mets fan. And we're going into this spring training in just a couple weeks, and we are ready to go, and you have got to be excited. If it was me, I might not have taken the deal only because I would have been soured by what happened. They didn't treat me right. I would have been like, you treat me like garbage. You wined and dined all these other players, and you talked about everybody else. You told the fans who were chanting my name at the amazing day that it's basically over. We're going for somebody else. But Pete's a different kind of personality. He's kind of he's a goofy kind of guy. He lets things roll off. And hey, good for him and good for the Mets and Mets fans. I think we got ourselves a big team and a big season coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's it for me on the Pete Alonso deal. 2 years, $54 million, $10 million signing bonus. Pete gets paid and the Mets get their deal the way they want it. They have their first baseman. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.